Today is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day, and I'll tell you why. Because it's a Sweden day. How much does Sweden cost you? Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
2,000 would be actually enough.
100K a month.
2,000.
2,000, and then she said 100K. Are they in about krona? Are they measuring it in krona? I'm guessing so. What is 2,000 a month? I'm gonna have to use my phone now to translate, to convert.
Swedish crowns for me as a student.
Getting my phone ready, guys.
Maybe for me, personally, it's maybe $100. I don't spend so much, if I'm gonna be honest. I usually buy quality, so it will.
$100 for what? A month? What's he talking about? He needs to specify, because I don't think you can live on $100 a month anywhere in Europe. So maybe he's on about weekly. I don't know.
It will last longer, so I don't need to spend so much. But if it's gonna be in total with my family, it's probably gonna be around $10,000. So maybe.
For I don't usually buy things that are so expensive, so I would say like maybe 500 Swedish crowns, so maybe $50.
So 500 Swedish crowns for how long? No one's explaining to me how long. How much does Sweden... I'm just reading the title again. How much does Sweden cost you? How long? $500 for what? A week? Month? I don't... Okay, I'm hoping they're going to clarify at some point.
Around that.
I could live very cheap, like 5,000 a month. If I
5,000 a month. Okay, now we've got someone that's actually giving me a... So I'm doing it now. 5,000 krona in Great British pounds. I need to specify what type of krona. Swedish. Oh, okay. £372 a month. Wait, what?
I could live very cheap, like 5,000 a month, if I didn't shop as much as I do. Yeah. Well,
she could live on £372 a month. Wow. Doing what? This is not accounting for rent. Is Sweden that cheap? These are students, right? So like, it seems like he's speaking to young people. I wish I could live on £372 a month. There's no way. There's no way I could ever live on that individually. What?
Well, so I only have to pay for like shopping and stuff I would like to have and not need to have. So maybe around 5,000 Danish crowns as well.
Okay, yeah, if you have your rent and everything paid for, like say if you're a kid, she looks very young, who lives at home with your parents and all that, that makes sense. Yeah, you could probably live on like £400 a month or whatever, 5,000 krona. Yeah, that makes sense. But if you're someone who's paying bills, rent, transportation, taxes, all this type of stuff, like, no. Never.
I live at home, so I think that 2,000 would be actually enough.
5,000 crowns, Danish crowns.
Okay, he's only just interviewing young people, so yeah, I'm not getting a really good feel for what adults would spend.
need than I do. We need to study and get a proper job and get some more money and try to save a lot. Yeah, more than we do today. A number of how much we want to save each month.
Save?
I think I'll need, like, if I want to live the life that I want to do, I'll probably need like 100K a month.
Damn, girl, 100,000. What would that be? Maths. I'm not very good at maths, so I'm just going to put it in here. 100,000 krona is £7,459. Wow, God, she laughs. She's being serious. She's like, that's how my lifestyle, what I want to live, that's how much I need. Okay.
You're gonna live a glam life. I'm gonna be a housewife. That's my goal.
I mean, that's a goal. Some people actually want to be housewives. Let me know in the comment section if you're a woman. Let me know. Would you mind being a housewife? Because, in fact, this is quite strange for a Swede. Like, she said that. I'm not that all Swedes are the same. But stereotypically, Swedes are very independent people, especially the women, which I love. But she's saying, no, I wouldn't mind being a housewife and, you know, living that good life, like being at home. Let me know in the comment section if you're a woman. Let me know if you would be a housewife. Actually, in fact, it doesn't even matter if you're a woman. If you're a guy, would you be a house man, house husband? Would you be a house husband and stay at home and have your wife work and bring home the bacon? Like, I think it's a good conversation to have, because when you have two incomes, if you have one person who earns such a significant amount of money in your relationship, out of, you know, in a couple, and if one person earns a lot of money, then yeah, why shouldn't the partner be like, well, I don't have to work if I don't want to work? Me personally, if I had a partner that was rich, which I don't, but if I did, I'd still work, because I'd get bored. I'd be at home, and if I didn't work, I'd have to have some sort of hobby. Yeah, I'd be really, really bored. Really bored. I had a short amount of time not working. I think the most I've not worked for is a month, 4 weeks in between jobs. And I hated it. I hated it. I just cannot be unemployed. It's just no way. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Could you be a housewife or a house husband? Let me know.
I mean, for now I want to travel a lot as well. Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know exactly the amount, but yeah, a lot of money so I can do whatever I want for now. Yeah. Yeah. Before I start to study and so on.
Yeah, do it.
Maybe 11,000.
11,000.
I really don't know.
So 11,000 would be about £800 a month. That's not bad. But like, wait, can you live off that in Sweden as well? It depends where they are. But they're not in Stockholm. Do you know where this is, guys? Let me know in the comment section if you know where this is set, where he's doing these interviews. Because £800 a month in London, it just won't get you far at all. You just wouldn't get anywhere. Let me ask how much. This is the easier way. Okay, Google, how much is 11,000 krona in Great British pounds? Ooh, I should have said Swedish. 800. Thank you. £820. Yeah, in London you couldn't live on that, live off that. But in Leeds, where I'm from, in the north of England, yeah, you could probably live off 11,000 Swedish krona. That would go mostly to your rent. You'd have to share, maybe in a house share, maybe £400 a month. Leave you with £400. Yeah, you could just do it if you live in a house share. But yeah, no, that's difficult. In London, you could never. You couldn't even rent out a shoebox for that amount of money.
I have a good job. I earn pretty much money. So
He said pretty money.
at least for now, I'm safe. I'm healthy and I have a job. So does my wife. It's a bit hard to estimate how much money we need, but we're doing.
He knows. He just doesn't want to say it because he earns a decent income, and I respect him for that. Like, it's not a very Swedish thing to do as well, to kind of brag about how much you earn. So you can tell he's like trepidatious. I like that word, trepidatious, and kind of like, ooh, I don't know whether I should, say that I need X amount of money to live a good life, because he's accustomed to it. Clearly, he earns good money, and him and his wife. Just say it.
We're doing okay.
1,200 euros.
That smile says everything you need to do. Need to know.
Estimate how much money we need, but we're doing okay.
That smile, nice smile. That smile says everything you need to know about how well he's doing in life. He doesn't even need to say.
1,200 euros.
Okay.
Maybe
1,200 euros. Yeah, okay. You couldn't live in London with that much money unless you lived in... No, you couldn't live in London. I'm sorry. London is ridiculous, guys. I'm telling you, in a shared house, you would be hard pressed to find an apartment, a room in a shared house for €1,000. Almost impossible. Like, it's so expensive. But in Leeds, where I'm from, yes, 1,200 you could live. Yeah, you could live in a shared house in an okay area and maybe have like, I don't know, €400 left over to like eat. It'd be hard, but you could do it.
Be 2,500 in food and living. I don't really buy clothes right now, so no.
He definitely lives at home with his parents because 2,500. He's just thinking about food. He's thinking about food outside of home. You can tell he hasn't got a grasp on how much it actually costs to live and provide for yourself. Does that make sense? Because when we're kids, we don't think about, oh wait, I've got to pay my phone bill, I've got to pay my gas bill, I've got to pay my electricity, I've got to pay rent, I've got to pay, we have council tax in the UK, I've got to pay TV tax, I've got to pay car insurance, I need to pay for a car, I need to pay for public transport. He's not thinking about all these things. He's thinking, oh, well, I need some snacks. I just need something to eat between lessons. So, I only need 1,000. I only need 1,000 krona or whatever. He definitely lives at home with his parents. His parents pay the bills, and it's fine. He's a kid. As a kid, I'd be like, yeah, I don't need much. Funny.
Swiss. We have Swiss standards with our income, so it's quite expensive. So I think here in the EU with euros, it's probably about, I would say, 2,500 to 4,000 euros. That's
2,500 to 4,000 euros. Oh wow, okay. 2,500. Okay. You could live in London, just about 2,500 euros. You could live in London. Now you get into that, yeah. You could rent out a room in a house. If you earn 2,500 euros, you could rent out a room in a house, but you could eat and that's it. Some public transport, that's it. Very, very tough. But 4,000 euros, you'd be living okay. Average, like you still could be struggling. You could probably rent out a room in a house, maybe get public transport, eat food, and also have some leisure time doing what you enjoy on the weekends for that amount of money. London is very, very expensive, guys. I'm sure it's similar in Stockholm, but yeah, expensive.
It's gonna cover all.
Where I'm from, 4,000 euros a month. You could probably rent your own apartment, to be honest. You could rent your own apartment. You could probably have a car on finance. I don't do finance. I don't do any of that. But, some people do. You probably could have car on finance. You probably could have, go out on the weekends and just enjoy yourself. You could live a decent life in Yorkshire for 4,000 a month, for sure.
All the expenses I want to do. So yeah,
2,000 Swedish crowns for me as a student. Maybe a little more. But my parents, they pay for most things.
There you go. My parents pay for most things. So when he's asking these kids this, right? And clearly their parents are paying for them. So it's and they don't have, like I said, they don't have a concept of. They don't have a concept of how much things cost yet because they haven't lived life. When I was a kid, I would say the same. I'd say, I only need like 100 quid, like maybe 200 quid a month to, quid means pounds, a month to like, I get some food and go out, like, yeah.
6,000 Swedish crowns.
Currently, let's say $2,000 US.
2,000 US dollars. So he's an adult. He looks like in his late 20s, early 30s. $2,000 Okay, now that's more realistic for someone who pays their own bills and all that type of stuff. Yeah. Probably if this is not Stockholm, I had one of my, hello, I won't say your name because not everyone wants to know. One of my Patreon members, we had a good chat and he was telling me about the prices of rent in Sweden, where he's from, like in a town where he's from, and he's got a place in Malmö, and he was telling me the price. And I was like, oh my God, it's so much more affordable outside of Stockholm in Sweden than it is in the UK. So actually he's saying $2,000. $2,000 probably stretches a lot more in Sweden than it does in the UK. Even in the rural areas of the UK. I think the UK, in a lot of ways, is more expensive than Sweden. I think especially with property, I've found, with rent. Rent seems to be a lot higher in the UK than it is in the EU. Germany is cheaper for rent. Sweden is cheaper for rent. I even think Finland. I think all of the countries in the EU are cheaper for rent. I think the UK, for some reason, we're a buyer's nation. So people tend to purchase property if they can, even though house prices are through the roof. People tend to purchase. So rent tends to be very, very high, and also not of good quality as well. Rental properties are not of good quality. So yeah, that's upsetting. So you guys can probably live on less because rent is normally the biggest part of your income, right?
10,000 crowns.
I also cannot answer that because I feel like my monthly expenses depend on how much I earn. So I buy more things because I have more money and not vice versa. I think I could.
It's not a good way to manage. That's not a good way to manage your money. I used to be just like that. Get money, spend money. I see money in my bank account, I'd be like, oh, there's money in there. I have to spend it. I'm getting better now. I'm getting better as I get older. Managing money, you get better at it. Or you should do. But that's a good way to freaking get broke, like, really quickly. Because if you lose your job, if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're just spending what you have in your account, like, down to zero or minus, you could just lose. If you lose your job, especially in the UK, that's it. You're like one paycheck away from being homeless. Like, it's scary. Yeah. I'm a big advocate of getting debt free and just kind of like trying to live within your means. I know it's so difficult nowadays, like, to live. It's like almost impossible, but it's even more imperative nowadays to live within your means if you can, because debt is. I've been in debt, and it's, God, the way it stresses you out, mental health wise, it affects your mental health when you can't pay your bills. Anyways, I'm gonna stop ranting. Let's continue.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I'd say with a house, mortgage, cars, and everything.
He's a very stylish man. Very stylish. You look at someone, you're like, he's got his life together. Like, nice trim, nice hair, salt and pepper, good shape, nice shirt, shades on, glasses on. He just looks like a guy that's just got his life together. Do you know what I mean? He's got a business, clearly. Like, he's doing well. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, he looks good.
Let's say 20,000 kroner.
There you go, 20,000 kroner. There you go. How much is that? How much did I say? So 20,000 kroner. Okay, Google. Sorry, guys. How much is 20,000 kroner in Great British pounds? Okay. £1,492. That's decent. That's a decent amount. I think in Sweden, I really believe in Sweden, it's more affordable. And I think people speak about, like, maybe food's more expensive. I think hotels and accommodation is a lot more expensive in Sweden than it is in the UK. I've been looking, because obviously next year I'm coming to see you guys. I'm coming to see you next year. Should I do a meetup? I don't know if I'd be so nervous to do a meetup. I do want to meet up. I've met and spoken to so many beautiful, lovely, kind Swedish people. Honestly, blown away. Like I've like, especially on my Patreon, I've had messages and like sometimes I get overwhelmed and I'm not able to reply to so many messages and like people are so lovely and I'm like, I would love to like give back in a way. I don't know how or like do a meetup, but yeah, I just don't know yet. But closer to the time, we'll have a conversation. We'll see what happens. I've got some ideas for when I go to Sweden. Anyways, I've digressed. You know when you just like, I've gone somewhere else in my head. But yeah, cannot wait to go to Sweden next year. I was on about accommodation. It's expensive. I was there, lost in conversation. Accommodation, yeah, in Sweden is a lot more expensive than it is in the UK. But I feel like everything else is cheaper in the UK in the sense of cheaper in Sweden, in terms of renting and just living, daily living, maybe electricity and gas and stuff like that. I think that's all more expensive in the UK. So I think it balances itself out. But I think overall, I think Sweden's more affordable than the UK. Let me know in the comment section if you agree or if you know, if you've ever been to the UK. Let me know. But maybe if you've been on holiday to the UK, it would seem cheaper because renting accommodation for a short stay is cheaper, but food is more expensive. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section. Anyways, back to the video. I'm gonna stop talking.
I could manage to 25,000 crowns a month. I could manage.
Maybe cheap in
25,000. Decent amount again.
I don't spend much money on stuff, so what can it be? A couple hundred a month, maybe. Not too much.
Very well dressed. Very well, like I feel like Swedes. You guys are very, very. What's the word I'm looking for? Pruned and primmed, and you dress really well. I've noticed that just from this video, or maybe he's just stopped at very attractive young people. But yeah, probably that. But you all dress really well. I can even see now in the background, everyone seems to dress pretty well. Anyways, guys, this was a very interesting video. I wish he stopped more older people, like adults. More adults, please, and less students. It's good to have students, but he should have also spoken to some elderly people, maybe pensionable age people, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. I wanted to see more of that, but I've got a gist of how young people spend money in Sweden, which is pretty good. Yeah, how Swedes spend their summer. I might watch that next. Guys, thank you very much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you very soon.